Together with MSC Industrial, tonight we recognize Staff Sergeant Vito Carlucci of the United States Air Force. Staff Sergeant Carlucci joined the Air Force in 1951 and served until 1955. He rose to the rank of Staff Sergeant, becoming a food specialist, medical hygienist, and boxing instructor. During the Korean War, he volunteered to serve the infantry at Kandahar Air Force Base in Korea. After the Air Force, Staff Sergeant Carlucci opened Carlucci's Pizza, Italian restaurants in Colorado and Carolina, and raised his family and 4 children in this beloved part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Staff Sergeant Vito Carlucci. Thank you for your service, Staff Sergeant Vito Carlucci, and thank you to all the other brave military personnel who continue to protect us right here at home and overseas.
Hello, everybody. So that was February 15th, 2018. And that was the day that, thanks to VetTix, Mr. Carlucci, a man who pretty much raised me, I guess, was honored by the New York Islanders, playing against the New York Rangers as veteran of the game. He's a Korean War veteran, and as a kid growing up in the neighborhood who never had a father, whose father passed away, he basically, raised me. Two people that were close to me, I guess consider a father, is one I met when I was 20, and that was Debbie's father, my father-in-law, and then another that I met when I was 7, I guess, so 45 years ago or so, and he's been such a powerful thing, of such a strong force in my life, and a very important force. And unfortunately, we lost him Friday. He was 86 years old, and I just wanted to have a little tribute to him, and to talk about him, and to let you guys know that you don't have to have. It's easy, I guess, to have a child. It's a father a child, but it's not so easy to be a dad. You don't necessarily have to be that that child's birth father to actually to be a father figure. He was a huge influence on my life. He was actually, I'd have to say, the most generous man I've ever met in my life. And our prayers go out to Vito, to his children, Vito, Carmen, Ruthie, and Anna, and just the grandkids and the great grandkids, and Sandra and Christina, who I see, and Damien today, and Ray and Mario, and all the kids. He was a real central part of our neighborhood. He owned Carlucci's Pizza. He took me to my first Yankee game. He took my first Islander game. And it's kind of apropos that today the Islanders are, it's their first preseason game of the season. He took my first Islander game in 1976. He had a great way of, he would get us tickets, and we'd go to the Yankee games and all, and then he'd slip the usher at 20, and the usher would take us down to the lower levels. We saw lots of amazing games. There's so many stories. Sat with Dennis Shaw and Anna Brooke-O'Leary today too, and Danny Corbett came to the funeral, and it was so sad. It was really hard on my son William, who he was Papa Vito to my kids, and his son Vito is Uncle Vito, and William really took it hard, and it was just a real testament to a truly great man. Things like I said, he was the most generous person you'll ever meet in your life, and I've been accused a lot of sometimes being a little too generous myself, I guess. If he gets a little upset with me, I always over tip, or I'll offer people higher page rates than maybe they should get, or well, they actually do deserve it, but it's, I guess, what's possible business wise. And I owe that all to him because he was so generous and he did that. He would give you the shirt off his back. He again, he did everything. He was an Air Force veteran, Korean War veteran. He was in Japan during the Korean War and volunteered to go to Korea. He was a hygienist specialist and took care of the soldiers and stuff like that, and the wounded and all, and helped nurse them back to health. And he also was a boxing instructor too. He was a tough son of a bitch. We were hearing some great stories. Some of my friends might have heard some stories that I told them that I won't tell here, but he was an amazing, amazing man. There's a huge hole in our hearts. And again, aside from my father-in-law, Andy Steffens, he really is the father I never had. And but he's been there since I was, I guess, 7 years old, 8 years old maybe. And he was like that to all us neighborhood kids. Fun story is in Little League, my last year in Little League, the only year I played Little League, actually. I never played Little League baseball growing up. Was they had a few extra kids and they needed a team. So they went to Mr. Carlucci and he sponsored the team, Carlucci's Pizza. But they probably had 4 or 5 kids that weren't picked for the other teams. So he ended up getting all the neighborhood kids, all of us who lived in the neighborhood, who never played Little League. I mean, we all played baseball, sandlot baseball all the time. But we never played in Little League. And so he got us all on the team. We all made a team. It was like our neighborhood team. Dennis Shaw's brother, Kurt, who lived across the street from Vito, was off of college. It was the summer. He was back from college or something. And he was our manager. And there was some interesting things, couple of fathers back in the day. This is, Bad News Bears times when, the managers or the coaches would be smoking cigarettes and arguments with parents. I remember one time Kurt got in an argument with one of the fathers and he told him to go home and play with his wife. The guy came after, and all his kids almost got in a fight with the other kids in the other team. And I remember Carvel. Carvel was like the really good team. They were in yellow. They were the really good team. And we were just, we sucked. I think we were black, actually. We were black and white. We got no one wore black then. So that just really helped, really solidified us. And it was me, Vito, let's see, Matt McHugh. Then we had John Freiberger, who was great pitcher. My God. I'm trying to think. Golly, I know I can come up with the team when I start thinking about it. I think Craig Gutman was on our team. I think, I don't know, but we put together this team of all the neighborhood kids, and we sucked. Because we didn't really know we had good guys like John Freiberg, who was great. John Varley played. Larry Arena was on our team, and they were really good ball players. And I was pretty good too, I guess. But we weren't really trained. We didn't, no. So we sucked. And by the first 3 games, I think we got killed. And then back then the season was really long. And we ended up starting to come together, right? And we just made it into the playoffs. Because this is back in the day, if there was 6-8 teams, only the top 4 teams got picked for the playoffs, And we ended up going to the playoffs. And we ended up winning the championship. It was unbelievable. It was it was really like the Bad News Bears. It was so funny. And it was just so great. And then we all went to the pizza parlor and we had a big party and stuff like that. And it was just, that was the only year that we did the team. And, it was just, it was great. Those are the days, you think of things like that. And I saw Jack Spiller, who's a friend of mine on Facebook. And Jack opened up a great stereo store next to Carlucci's Pizza, which was Jumping Jack Stereo, which he has now still on Long Island. And, talking to Jack today and laughing. And we didn't realize Jack opened the store. He was only 21 years old. And here's all those 10, 11-year-old kids, 12, 13-year-old kids just hanging out in his store playing asteroids and stuff like that. I remember he had the asteroid machine. And we literally lived at this pizza parlor. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun things. Sometimes some crazy stuff would happen. Living in our hometown, and some of the people that, if you guys like Diane Mazzella, you're from our town, the kind of, people we were. They're not the most couth people in the world, I guess. It was a great place to grow up, North Babylon, and I'm sure it still is. We don't live there now. I live farther out east. But it was a real melting pot. It was a fantastic way to grow up. And I remember again, Jack became friends with a lot of the Islanders, and the New York Islanders would come to his store, and we would actually, got to autograph them, meet them, and stuff like that, and they would hang out a while, and it was unbelievable. And then the Islanders started winning the 4 Stanley Cups, and these guys would come to the Jumping Jack Stereo set, and then we all eat pizza, and it was just wonderful. It was the best pizza still I've ever had. No offense to Furchie's, which is our favorite pizza parlor today, but I guess even the nostalgia when you remember that kind of pizza as a kid. And he was such a strong, tough man. And it was a shock because I remember he went into hospice last week, and I didn't want to believe it, And I talked to Anna and Dennis would say, "You got to go see him, got to go see him." And I don't know if it's selfish of me, but I don't know if it is, but I couldn't go see him. I was busy with deadlines, of course, but then I didn't know, and I didn't think maybe he wanted to see me, but it was just, I think he was such a rock in my childhood, again, as someone who grew up without a father, who my father passed away, so my mother had to raise 6 kids by herself, but Mr. Carlucci really became, this surrogate father figure to me, and Dennis's father too, Mr. Shaw. That's important growing up, is when you don't have a dad. And that's what he really was. He was a dad. He'd call me son. He'd tell me he loved me, son. He loved my kids. He loved Deb. Like I said, Vito's like a brother to me, and it's just, it was a wonderful upbringing, again, it's a real knife in the heart. But he had a great life. 86 years old. Again, a Korean War veteran. American hero, and the most generous person, aside from my in-laws too, that I've ever met, and truly a great example of how to be as a father yourself, because he devoted his last 25 years or plus, almost 30 years, to Vito, who's a tough son of a bitch I'll ever meet, who I've ever met, and he's got MS, but he fights every day, and he looks fantastic. And he's just a strong, such a strong constitution, and it was you feel very stressful, but it's a great loss. It's a great loss in all of our lives, and it sucks getting old, I guess, right? We're all getting older, we're all getting to that age, and it's just the passing of time. But I just wanted to make a public thing to, again, all his children, to his children, his grandchildren, his great grandchildren, to all the friends, all the families, everyone that came, everyone that knew him, and just what our icon, what a rock of the community that he was, and all that he did for everyone, including us and my family. He did so much for us, and it was Carmen, his daughter Carmen, gave Vito one of his hats. He always wore hats that was cool, Andy caps, or the Greek captain hats. He always wore those, and William wore it today to the funeral. But it was again, it was an amazing. I gotta stand over here so I'm more centered. Sorry. It was an amazing service with the Air Force Honor Guard, giving with the flag ceremony and playing taps, and it was a proud moment to be there. But I just want to say, I love you, Mr. Carlucci. I love you, Vito. I love you, Carmen. I love you, Anna. I love you, Ruthie. I love all you kids, all the grandkids. You guys are all family to me. And again, it was one of the best moments of my life. Was there to be honored, to be able to stand by his side when Mr. Carlucci was honored by almost 20,000 people at the Barclays Center last year at the Islander Ranger game as the veteran of the game, to salute him for his service in Korea. And I just want to say, we'll miss you, Mr. Carlucci. We love you. You're always going to be there with us. You're always in our hearts, always. And we'll be there for Vito, of course, and all the kids. And just want to say I love you. So thank you all. And we'll be on tomorrow. I'll be on for Crowdfunding Comics. I got to get to work. Thank you, Archie Comics. I have a cover to do. And it was due Friday, and I'll finish it tomorrow. And Mike Negan too. Mike Negan, I got to get you the art for the St. Jude auction. But he just was a great man, and it's really a gift to be blessed to have grown up in a neighborhood like we did, and to have the people there, and and we all were a family. It was such a great neighborhood, a great town, great school, North Babylon, where we grew up. It wasn't always easy. You know, we were all lunch pail hard hat kids. You know, the kids of lunch pail hard hat parents. And you know, it was just a great town. And you know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. He helped me so much. He was such a big supporter for me from the beginning with my art. And you know, and he, like I said, he loved my kids. He loved Deb. He just he's one of the most important people in my life, and I'll miss him. So love you, Mr. Carlucci. Love you guys, and I'll see you later. And again, thanks for everything. So, good night. Bye.